Hey, you're listening to the 19th Bitachon Podcast, and I'm excited to share with you all that, Baruch Hashem, this past Sunday, the men met. We had 10 people on the meeting. Very nice meeting, Baruch Hashem, and I encourage you all to join. Women are meeting tonight on Tuesday. Am I correct? Yes, it's Tuesday. And Baruch Hashem, we are growing together, working on Bitachon. I'll just mention somebody asked on the meeting, what can we do to actually work on Bitachon? And it's something which I mentioned in the past. I heard from Yisrael Brog and suggested working on having a passuk at your fingertips, whether it's Baruch Hager Shevtach B'Hashem V'al Yashem Yiftachai. Rav Brog recommends Hashem Tzivakos Imanu Miskav Lanu Elokev Yaakov Sela, Hashem Tzivakos Asher Yoter Moteach Bach, Hashem Mashiach Melech Yaneinu B'Yom Kareinu. The psukim that remind us of what we know to be true. When we repeat the psukim, it's like a mantra. When we repeat it over and over again, it's choder lalev. It gets into our hearts. And as my Rosh Yeshiva said, when it comes to Bitachon, it's an emotional thing. It's an emotional feeling. So in order to get that emotional feeling, we have to understand what is it that works for our heart. I've also mentioned this is in the Sefer Bitachon Hashem. He brings down, I believe it was from Rav Dessler, if I'm not mistaken. We mentioned it in a previous podcast, but it's this idea. Saying the psukim over and over again helps us remember what it's about. So I encourage you, we're going to work on it this week. Saying psukim, I've been trying to do it. I have another suggestion in Mitzvah Hashem for next week. And you're welcome to send me an email saying how it's going for you, what's working for you, what's strengthening your bitachon. I'm happy to share it with the group, share it with whoever's watching this year. We can work on this together. When we work on it together, it's so different than if we work on it by ourselves. I have to tell you, on this idea of working on it together, I saw an amazing story. There's a new Sefer from my Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Per. It's called Shoshanas HaAmakim. You can find it actually on Amazon.com. And in the Sefer, he mentions a story that happened with Rabbeinish. I forget the last name, but it was Rabbeinish. He was a certain very wealthy man, grandfather actually of Rabbi Avram Chaim Feuer. And he was a very wealthy man, and he was one of the main donors for the Novardok yeshiva. And he would give a tremendous amount of money to Novardok, to the Alter, for his yeshivas. And one time, some collectors for the yeshiva of Slobodka came, and this very wealthy man gave them 100 rubles. And they said to him, 100 rubles, we know that, with all due respect, but we know that you gave 1,000 rubles to the Alter of Novardok. Is our yeshiva any less than Slobodka is also a chashuv yeshiva. Is it any less than Novardok? And Rabbeinish said to him something very profound. He said to them, when the Alter of Novardok walks in, it's very different from you when you walked in. When you walked in, before you walked in the door, you wiped your feet. You wiped your feet from the dirt, so you shouldn't get my house dirty. When the Alter of Novardok walks in, he doesn't wipe his feet. He comes right in. He's not machshiv my wealth at all. He doesn't consider the fact that I'm wealthy to be something important. And because he's not machshiv my wealth, he's not machshiv my money, and not machshiv my status, so I feel the same. It rubs off on me. So when it comes to giving him money, it's not a big deal for me to give him more money, because at the moment that he comes in, I don't feel like the money is so precious or important. But when you guys came in, you wiped your feet before you came in. You were showing that my house is chashuv, the floors in my house are chashuv, my wealth is important, and so because you came in with that feeling, so I have that feeling also. If my money is important to me, so then I'm not going to give it away as much. Very powerful. I mean, there's lots of lessons to learn from it, but what I take out of it is that's how important it is to be around people who have the right values, who have the value of Bitachon. It's so important, how important it is for us to listen to a Bitachon podcast, to join together with others who are working on Bitachon. When we do that, it rubs off on us, because this is what's really important. When we see that it's working for somebody else, it helps us to believe that it can work for us as well. And like I said, it's very much an emotional feeling. Bitachon works, it's a fact. HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for a person, provides for them whatever they need, it's a fact. But it depends on us. Rosh Yeshiva told a Maisa, I heard this morning on an older Vad from about 2 years ago. He told a Maisa that it had happened that day. He had heard that day from my friend in Lakewood, Rav Mordechai Diamond, his wife has said to him, they had been looking for a house, a place to live, and they had been interested in a certain place. At the last minute, it fell through. They didn't have a place. They were very cramped in the place where they were. And Rav Mordechai Diamond, his wife, says to him, that's it. We got to get out of here. We have to do something. So Mordechai's like, all right, I have bitachon that we're going to find a place. Within 1 minute, the phone rang. 1 minute. The phone rang and somebody got on the phone. He said, I know that you're looking for a place. There's a guy who's about to put his house on the market. He hasn't yet put his house on the market. If you get it now, you can get a great deal, and call him up. So they called him up. They went over to see the house, and they signed a contract right away. That's real bitachon. That's real bitachon. It really can work. It really can work if a person is in the right emotional space, the right mental space. There's a lot of things we've been discussing, but certainly it's extremely helpful to be part of a group working on it. And I'm excited that we're starting this back up again for the guys, and that the women have been, more consistently involved in doing it every single week. So if you want to know more information, if you're interested, please do contact me, arigoldwag@gmail.com, or the Bitachon group @gmail.com. Both of those emails get to me, and I will send you, if you're a woman, to those who are in charge there. And if you are a man, I shall respond. All right, let's read some more chizik inside of Madreigas Ha'adam, the Alter of Novardok. We're talking about a person who, like all of us, goes back and forth between having trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, realizing and knowing that it's important to be involved in ruchnius, and going to the other extreme of thinking, I need to do everything myself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to do it for me, having that false belief. This is true not just in regards, the fact that a person flips from one side to another is not only in regards to rising up on the ladder of seeking spiritual greatness alone, also in regards to the way that a person acts when it comes to his natural inclinations, specifically a person who understands and he recognizes, meaning he knows the truth, a person who has self-awareness, he knows what he's doing. He notices that when I deal with this particular person, I flatter them a lot. Person recognizes inside himself that his netiya, his inclination, is to flatter people and to try to get on their good side and to say whatever needs to be said in order for them to like him. Anybody who's trying to get in good with him, so he tries to get in good with them, or maybe he's afraid of the other person, whatever it is, but this person we're speaking of is always, he recognizes he's always flattering somebody else. He doesn't really stand strong to his own true opinions. He's busy trying to make other people like him. But the person recognizes it. He feels bad about it. What do I do? It's hard to stop myself. I'm aware of it. So now he decides, I'm changing my ways. I'm going to go out with a strong decision. I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to do what the Torah says. I'm going to do what's going to help me in my spiritual growth. I'm not going to be afraid of anyone. So that person decides, I'm going to stand strong. I'm not going to flatter anybody. I'm not going to change my opinions for anybody. I'm not going to be affected by anybody who I might be afraid of. Person might be able to hold on to that decision for some time. The person we're talking about doesn't have the ability to really remain with his decision. It's not to change, not to go off of his decided path. He's afraid of the future. The questions of life, all the needs that he has, they're working on him to slowly let go of his decision. and this reminds me of something that Rav Brog said also, that the biggest mistake a person can make is when they're challenged with whatever situation. It looks like something is going to go wrong. It looks like something is going bad. It looks like something might go bad. To start to fall into the fear, to allow oneself to be afraid, that's the first mistake. Because a person at that moment needs to turn around and say, no, I'm mamish believe kol kulai, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu can help me, that it's going to be okay, that it's going to not just be okay, it's going to be great. It's important not to fall into the fear, but that's what happens. A person thinks about tomorrow, he thinks about what's going to be, etc. That's the danger. There's somebody who gives him an opportunity to get what he needs. He needs food, he needs money, and he opens it up. He says, oh, maybe I'll be nice to this guy. So his imagination creates all kinds of scenarios, what's going to be, and it's, makes him afraid. He thinks that I must say whatever I need to say in order to get this favor. This person is the guy who's going to give it to me. I have no choice. I have to say something nice so that I don't get damaged, whatever the situation might be. And in this way, the person causes himself to just give in. He lowers himself. Whatever another person holds, he says, oh yeah, you're right, etc. Mahar is called Inyan HaTorah. He's willing to destroy his own opinion about the truth of the Torah because of his inclination towards flattery. His whole life, he has a constant battle. He keeps going from one extreme to the other, jumping from one side to the other. Sometimes he's able to overcome himself, overcome his fears, and he doesn't flatter because he knows it's not the right thing. He knows that this person is saying something which is against the Torah. But most of the time, he doesn't do as much mitzvahs. He holds back from doing what he knows is right because of his inclination to flatter others. Because what does flattery mean? It means I want people to like me. I'm more concerned about what other people will think of me than I am with what HaKadosh Baruch Hu will think of me. He thinks that he has no choice in order to take care of his future. When a person sees that he's inclined to be mevatel them all, what does he want to do? He wants to say that the people who are great are not really so great. They're not really doing what's right. Let's talk about the other extreme. Otherwise, it can also happen that a person doesn't want to admit that those who are doing what's right are really right. What is the reason? It's because I want to feel better about myself. I'm not doing that, so I gotta somehow rationalize the fact that I'm not doing what's right. So I have to knock them down. I'm doing what's better. I'm focused on something else that's important, right? Sometimes he will have regret in his heart about his path. He'll say to himself, it's not right what I'm doing. His conscience will bother him. Because the person hasn't worked on his character. He's a lowly person. He has bad midas. It's very hard for the person to overcome this way. He thinks that by speaking this way, maybe other people will think that he's smart and wise. It all comes back to, why is the person doing it? Because he thinks that if I do this, if I knock them down, pick myself up, these people will think I'm amazing. Then I'll get my needs. This person who's rich will think that I'm smart. I'll get my needs. And this way a person flips from one extreme to the other. And when the true recognition is clarified to him, when he thinks about the truth, in In other words, his conscience pulls at him. Sometimes he'll say, oh wow, look at the amazing thing that the people who are good are doing. And he'll try to learn from them. But he keeps flipping back and forth. When his imaginary thoughts scare him, he thinks, oh no, people are not going to think of me highly. And he thinks he's going to be less than other people in his situation. So he doesn't strengthen himself, to stand up against them. So this kind of person, sometimes he'll say, oh wow, the people who are doing what's right are amazing. Sometimes he'll say that they're not so good. He flips this way and that because all he cares about is that people like him. Now he comes back to Bitachon, and here we finish off this chapter. Certainly when it comes to the idea of Bitachon, in order to stand firm on this path, and not to turn away from it, a person has to be very stately, has to be very strong. There's a internal struggle, there's an internal battle that a person has to face off with. To keep trying to figure it out. That's the normal way of thinking. Oh my gosh, I need a certain amount of money by a certain day. What can I do? How can I make that money? Which magazine can I read that will tell me the way that person got rich, and then I'll do that thing, and which PR do I need to do, and if I do this thing, then if I make the hit video, the hit song, everyone will know me, and I'll get all the concerts and all the weddings and I'll be rich. Right? So he's busy thinking about all of these cheshbonos. It's very hard to stop thinking that way. Right? And especially if that's what everyone's saying. That's what all of the magazines are saying. This is what you have to do. You have to put in full ishtadlus, maximum. And it's very hard to give oneself over completely to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the one who makes the real decrees. You just heard the story about Rav Mordechai Diamond. We just heard the story about the Alter of Novardok. Just heard this story, that story. It's. I know it's true, but it's hard to get off it. It's hard to get off of the way I'm used to. And even though all of these things, all of these types of calculations, how can I make the money? What can I do better? All of these things are the way of the world. So it's something which really can cause a person to stumble. It's very easy to lose one's hope, to lose one's focus. Someone who's a mavakish, we're talking about here. We're talking about somebody who really wants a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But it's easy to fall, make mistakes, and end up thinking in the way that the whole world thinks. Right? We're going against the stream here. We're going against the tide. It comes out that if you want to reach the highest levels of Bitachon, and certainly if you want to reach the level of somebody who really trusts in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not flipping from one side to the other, but focused, real, Hashem is the one who's taking care of me. It's not this person who might sponsor my video. It's not that person who might sponsor my video. It's not that person. It's not the people who everyone's going to give me money. All the people are going to buy it. It's not all these kinds of thoughts. So getting to this real level of bitachon is a tremendous battle. It's unclear who's going to win. It's Hara or us. It requires a tremendous amount of strength to win, to succeed. And for a person to indeed prepare the path, to feel the truth, and not to turn away from it. So he gives us here, like, this is how you do it. How do you do it? Prepare the path. Hargish be'emes, you have to feel the truth. You have to feel it. It's a feeling. Don't turn away from it. Right? You come to the place, Yad Bitachon, you're going to have a spot. You come there, there's no spot. No, don't give up. Turn around, come back. There's going to be a spot. You didn't have a spot. Don't give up on the next time. Strengthen yourself anyway. My Bitachon wasn't strong enough maybe. Or maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu said no. Whatever the reason is. We don't know the cheshbonos of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But that's the yesod here. That's the foundation. Watch out. Don't fall off the path. Don't go to this extreme. We have to, in order to have real bitachon we're talking about here, it's something that requires yischazkus, strengthening. Come be part of our group. Listen to the shir. Send an email. Call in. Be part of people working on bitachon. Thank you so much for listening.